Alright, welcome. We're back with another rap analysis video, and just like I said I would, I'm starting to have guests. I'm very excited to have my very first guest on the show. That's right, Nolan James. Nolan is a wrestler. As you can tell, I always talk about wrestling and the rap together. And I thought I'd start interviewing wrestlers also who have similar tastes in music. Nolan likes all music, but he also likes rap. I let him pick their song, and we just go through it together. Some of his accolades: he was the very first VIPW champion. Is that correct?
That's true.
Was it like the heavyweight champion?
Yeah. Vancouver Island Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Champion.
First ever. He's won so many titles in the PWA. He's been the Pure Wrestling Champion, the Internet. I don't know about tag team.
I was the BC champion.
And that's no longer.
Yeah, no longer there, but I was the first ever PWA Elite Champion as well.
And the very first ever guest on the rap analysis video. So like this guy's, his list of accomplishments are just going through the roof, and I'm just thanks for being here, man. This is awesome.
I'm excited.
And obviously, if you look on the YouTube video, it already spoils it because it says in the title what song he picked. He picked Pump Pump, the final track off Snoop Dogg's debut album Doggystyle, which was released November 23rd, 1993. So let's just get into it. Why'd you choose this song?
I chose this song because it was the first like hardcore rap song that I'd heard when I was growing up. First kind of music I listened to was rap music by choice. I had this Christmas album that had a Run DMC song on it. It wasn't Christmas in Hollis. It was called Christmas Is. So we had that tape that Christmas, and all summer long I was pumping out that one song, the one Christmas song, over and over. In that year, the next year, I got the Crisscross album and a Walkman.
Was it cassette still then?
Yeah.
Oh man. So like you're like 3 or 4 years younger than me. So what age do you think you were when you first heard Pump Pump?
I was,
because it came out in '93.
Yeah, but it was maybe like a year later that I had heard it. I was in grade 4, so I was probably around 8 years old.
Damn. The things like the kids listened to back in the days. I had the cassette tape when I was 12 years old, so for me that would have been '94. I never heard, but didn't you say you heard this song before you heard the rest of the album?
Yeah, because I had a sister that was 4 years older than me, so she'd always be bringing home music from her friends on the mixtape or whatever, and whenever I threw in the mixtape, I was listening to it, and the last song on the first side of the tape was Pump Pump, so like the static hit and then the sweet beat hit, and like right away I was addicted. And then Snoop started, and I was like, what is this? I need this.
And like for me, when I was like I was a little bit older than you, but even other music that wasn't Snoop, but like rap and stuff, did you know everything they were saying? Like some of the stuff went over my head, or some of the slang I did not even have a clue.
Yeah, no, but I slowly learned because I was so into it, and then I'd watch like the gangster movies and stuff like that, and it all just, it became the music that I became obsessed with.
And some of the things, like, you don't know what they're saying, but you can like piece it together. You're like, oh, he must be referring to like something like this just because of the context. Right. So I did some research. I tried and do a little bit of homework on the song. So it came, like I said, it came out in November '93. It sold, I think, almost 12 million copies worldwide. Some of the different releases of Doggystyle had different songs that were on the album then weren't on the album, but this was the final track, and it was featuring Mr. Malik, or he was called like something else.
Lil Malik, or at the beginning.
Yeah, but then
which was also cool because it was a kid rapping, so it was like the Crisscross album that I was listening to, and then it sounded the same.
Yeah, and he like went on to do a lot of work like with Warren G and stuff, but he never really like got to like that mainstream success, but he was a really good rapper too. And like it says on the song, like it says all the songs were produced by Dr. Dre, but now that I've gone back and listened to a lot of interviews, it was basically Dre, Warren G, and Daz producing everything, and then Dre would do all like the final mixing and stuff. And I found out that there was a couple samples, like the Pump Pump thing came from a song by, I don't know if you know this, by Naughty by Nature. It was called Ready for Them, featuring Heavy D. Here, I'll play it a quick second, and you can hear the pump pump in it.
Ready for them, but them not ready for me. Ready for them, but them not ready for me.
See? So that's where they got the pump pump from. And then the black blam blam to the, it came actually from the Chronic, Dr. Dre. At the very end, there was a song called "The Day They Took Over," and at the very end, I'll play it for you. And the guy did that, and then they incorporated and made like a whole song from it on the 2000.
This is one of my favorite tracks off the Chronic.
Really? See, I heard Doggystyle before I even went. Like, I went back.
Right.
Like, Snoop was the first rap album I ever had.
Right.
Cassette tape, right?
Sweet.
So, like, we'll just go through it together.
Another fun fact is the reggae guy in that song. I believe his name's like Prince Itel Joe, something like that. I don't know how to pronounce it, but he did stuff with Death Row, and he also rolled with Marky Mark.
Really? The guy from the Chronic one?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The one from the Snoop Dogg one.
Oh, man.
He's in a few songs.
So, it just comes in, like, oh, this is what it says. It says that Malik was also, see, there's like Mr. Malik, Little Malik, and then also they said they used to call him Little Hershey Lobe. I don't know if that's two guys or if that's him, and he had 3 different names. I tried to look into as much stuff as I could, and it said, like, he did like a song on Monica's album, and he did a lot of songs with Warren G and stuff like that. But I couldn't find anything but with Little Malik, but maybe some people called him Little Malik, and he was Mr. Malik too, or eventually became. So I don't know. So the viewers in the comments, if you know more about this, please help fill me in. So it just goes with the static, and then it just busts. It's like pum 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 pum, and then it goes right into the song. And to me, I don't know if like on that album, like the Doggystyle and Chronic, they had like such West Coast like G-funk beats. This one seemed more harder to me. Like it wasn't like the laid back like funky. It wasn't as funky. It was more like boom in your face.
No doubt.
And then so Snoop has the first verse, and he goes, "Let the motion of your body be the key, 'cause we be the motherfucking G-funk family. Now I'll play the G in this deadly game. Snoop Dogg is the name, dog pounds the game. If it ain't one thing, it's a motherfucking other. Word to my granny and my daddy and my mother." So like, what were you thinking hearing this? You were like 8 years old or 9?
Yeah. So just hearing that too, like hearing the swear words and stuff, it was like, oh, like what is this? And as you hear it, like we're the G-funk family, like that's a great introduction to me to.
Yeah, he's like explaining it too. It's like easier like for you to like comprehend it and like take it all in, right? Set the scene. But did your you said your sister had it? Did your parents even know you were listening to this?
Yeah.
Wow.
They're cool with it. They didn't like it, but they weren't gonna tell me not to do it. My parents were always really supportive when it came. Well, my dad especially. My dad did not like the rap music. He's like, you can't understand what they're saying, but he would always buy me the albums and always find new stuff for me.
That's so cool, because like a lot of the older folks, like I know I got it banned. Like I was banned for a while once my mom actually heard what it was. Like she bought it for me, but then she didn't realize, and then she heard a couple of songs and she was like, hey, no more of that. But like that's so cool of your dad, because a lot of the times they didn't understand it, so they wouldn't support it, but it's almost like he didn't get it, but he still just let you.
Right. And the thing is, my dad was really into the blues, and as I got older, I listened to the blues, and I realized it's the exact same thing. It might not sound exactly the same, but lyrically, it's a different time frame, so it is still like the struggle of being poor and like just trying to make it, you know?
Yeah, it's basically they're just saying like what's going on in their times. Like I always say, like in rap, they're like reporting what's around them. Like even sometimes they're talking about like they're such badass, and maybe now that they're musicians, they're not really doing that, but they're around it, or they grew up around it, so they're just like, I find it's more real life than other music. It's like, it's actually what's going on in the world a lot of the time. So, say, word to my granny and my daddy and my mother. I used to love that line as a kid. And then, so he goes, whether standing on the corner or bouncing in the 6 deuce, that must be a car, right?
Yes.
Like, I'm assuming. I don't know which one. Yeah. And then he's like, when I was locked up, I couldn't wait to get loose. And then he kind of, Snoop was like one of the first rappers to kind of like harmonize a bit. Did you notice that? Like sing or like hold his notes a bit.
Right.
Because he's like, because back in the days, on the side where it's at, a homie had to have a fat stack, and I was a fool. Like no one else was really doing that, really that much. And because I guess like some of the things I've seen, Dre was like, you have a good voice, you need to like hold these notes sometimes, like. So he says, and I was a fool, don't make me have to grab my strap and go rat-a-tat-tat. Homie slap to a motherfucking face, he fall. Cause none of y'all can see the doggy dog, cause he's one rude boy coming with the wickedness. So shut the fuck up and listen while I'm kicking this. And like, do we even know what the chorus means? Like, blam 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 to them all, listen to the shots. Like, is he just basically saying it's just a shoot 'em up song? Is that
I guess so, yeah.
That's what I did. And then they do the dee dee da dee dee, or was that just
Yeah,
at the end?
that was at the end.
Oh, okay. And then okay, verse 2, Snoop comes on. Now you can look to the sun and spot the moon and see Snoop Dogg step into the room with the G funk, he funk, she funk, we funk, follow me, listen to the words that a homie kick. It doesn't even say homie kick, but I remember he says that, right?
Yeah.
He says the homie. And I try and blank out the N words, I'll just say like homie or brother or whatever. But these lyric sites, I find a lot of times they're wrong. Like,
Yeah,
I hear
no
it
doubt.
differently.
No
do,
doubt.
do you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay, good, because it drives me
It's
crazy
same when you
sometimes.
do karaoke. The karaoke's all wrong and it messes you up. It's
And you're like,
not
I
good
know,
for it.
because,
Yeah.
oh, I forgot to, this was something else I wanted to bring up. Nolan's, like, done a lot of dabbling and being a musician. He's played guitar, he's had a couple gigs with a couple bands and stuff like that, so that's why it's so honored for me to have him as my first guest, because I want to have wrestlers on, but wrestlers that have, either they're just big fans of music like me, or they, like, actually have, like, some connection with it. And, like,
Right,
so you,
right.
was
Yeah.
it bass guitar, or?
I played guitar. I started playing guitar, and then with my best friend who played drums, we played like punk rock and metal and stuff. And then I eventually started playing bass, and then got into bands where we played like classic rock and blues and stuff like that. And even like everything, especially on the death row stuff, is really like bass heavy, but like old school bass, not like that electronic stuff that we have now. It's like
Yeah.
actual stuff that I can pick up the bass and like play those songs.
Like
So
the
it's-
George Clinton and Earth, Wind and Fire
Yeah,
and that kind of
exactly.
stuff. Like, because Dre sampled a lot of that stuff, or even like, I guess probably like James Brown and that kind
Yeah.
of era.
And I love all that stuff, like all that old funk and soul music. I listen to that now, and it's so great when a song comes on and you realize like this was my favorite rap song, you know, because they sampled it, right?
Yeah, like there wasn't a lot of musical, like the two samples that I kind of. Let me know if there's more. But what I could find was just those two, and it was basically just sampling the vocals or that pump sound. But I couldn't find if like any keyboards or drums or any of that guitar was sampled at all in this song. But like I love digging in the crates and finding out that stuff, like you said, like stuff that like when I grew up I had no idea that some of these came from like old
Exactly,
70s
yeah.
songs and stuff like that. Like
And for the most part, they were. Like you listen to those songs, and they're like that sweet, like soulful jam. Like you can just lay back to it, listen, and that's what that music. Like the old songs, are just so smooth and funky.
yeah, man, like I think the Dr. Dre, the Chronic, like every song had like an old sample
Yeah.
on it pretty much, right? Okay, so where were we? Let's see. He come down with the wickedness. Oh no, wait. Yeah, no. One rude boy coming with the darkness. Close your eyes cause you can't see me. I quit school cause Eureka says you fucking BG. I believe BG is baby gangster. I'm shaking up the party like Lottie Dottie. Is he the dopest? You better ask somebody. When, then, send some gin and a pack of zigzags and let the games begin. In 93, he's fucking up every rapper known in this industry. Check this out, it's a dog pound thing. You know who I am, you know my motherfucking name. Who am I?
The SNOOP.
Nickname. See, this is wrong, right? He says Silky Slim, doesn't he?
I
Because
don't
this says Silky Smell.
Yeah.
He doesn't say Silky Smell. I thought he said SNOOP, nickname Silky Slim. That's what I thought it was.
Right.
But it's not Silky Smell. The lyrics I hear,
Maybe
you can't see
smells
what I'm
silky.
looking at.
Yeah, I don't know.
But to me, that's not what he said. Last name D-O-double-G. The behavior and the flavor that I found makes me want to hit that ass up with the dog pound. And then they do the chorus again. Now I'm gonna get into the third verse, which was by this Malik guy. I have to ask you, what was your favorite verse when you heard it back? Like, did you love Snoop or did you like this other guy?
I liked Snoop, but like I said, it had that like crisscross feel because it was a kid like with the high voice. So I thought that
Yeah,
was
he
very
did sound
cool.
really. He almost at first, to be quite honest, I'm not trying to be rude. I honestly thought it was a female. At
Me
first,
too, yes, for sure.
because it was so young. But he was like crisscross, but he was talking like street.
Yeah,
he
because-
wasn't talking about missing the bus. He
Yeah.
was talking about
They had the Lady of Rage, and she sounded like that same style,
exactly, and she was on a couple songs on the same album, right?
Right.
So he comes in, he's like, now just back up, don't act up, I pack up my cheat. Any battle I'm in, I win, I can't be beat. Don't sleep while I peep out my technique. I forgot I'm out of sight, so you can't see the MC of the ear. You hear and you fear. I got something for them rappers in the front and the rear. I handled the sides, did a drive-by on the who ride. I'm satisfied now, everything is really alright. You know when I come wicked. Don't need no permission, motherfucker, I'ma kick it. People sweat my shit, I wet 'em up with the biscuit. Lick 'em up, shot it, don't stop till them all drop. Make up your mind, go pop or slang rocks or stop rotting on the next homie's jock. I'm strapped with my Glock on your block and ready to let loose on the first imitator that I spot. So he pretty goes off.
Yeah, that's good.
He had a pretty good verse there, but to me it was just Snoop had such a like commanding voice. Like
Right.
he just was so, when he first came out, he was just so different than any other rapper ever that I'd ever heard. And like some of my friends were like huge Snoop Dogg marks, which I was too, but like he changed their life literally.
Yeah, so when I heard this song, then I needed to get the Doggystyle album, so I had that on cassette. And then from there, the other rappers that were in it, if I saw their name in the in the credits, or
Yeah,
if he
yeah.
mentioned someone's name, I'd find that. I just try so hard to get as much as I could, and back then with no internet or anything.
Yeah, and we like he comes from Sayward. I grew up in Camp River, so there's small towns. Like there's not a lot of record stores and stuff around too.
Yeah, and that always blows my mind too, like especially, well, even being in Camp River, being in Sayward, we're on Vancouver Island, which is far away from any cities or anything, so it's like, how did that music even get to us is what always gets
Oh,
me, you
dude.
know, because everyone's got the mixtapes, and like, who did that come from the first time, and like, it somehow works its way up to us.
It's amazing. Like you know how they say like word of mouth spreads. It's like word of music spreads. When there's something that good, it's like even like wrestling in the tape trading days. Like I only got WWF like one show. I didn't even get Raw. I got like a challenge show with squash matches. But like with the tape trading, everybody eventually got exposed to everything.
Right,
Like, if
right.
it was really something hot, people were getting it and finding ways to share it and everything like that. But like man, those the old cassette tapes and whatnot. And like you said, like would you go and read in the like the little booklet and
Yeah,
stuff like that,
yeah.
and like see who wrote it and stuff? But what about like I know this wasn't, and it's great because I don't like to pick the singles a lot on this song
Right.
or on the show. But did you ever see any of the videos like Who Am I or Gin and Juice or any of those videos?
Eventually, because I didn't have much music, I didn't have any way of seeing the videos. So every once in a while, I'd catch it, or I'd catch like the last 30 seconds of it when I was at my grandma's house or something like that. Like,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, we didn't even have cable where I grew up. Like you probably had more channels than me,
Yeah.
but Much Music was like an add-on one or something,
Right,
wasn't it? Like
right,
it wasn't
yeah.
part of the normal package.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Damn. And then like you'd get one of your friends and he'd actually record it on VCR. And
Exactly. We had this tape that we passed around. We copied for everybody when I was a kid. It was from a station called The Box. It was a U.S. station, so someone had like pirated satellite. So that tape actually had like music videos from like Snoop, Dre, Tupac. Who else was on there? There was Bone Thugs on there. There was like stuff like Smashing Pumpkins and Nirvana. Like it was just
Oh,
like
yes.
the greatest tape to have.
like everyone is like, oh, it's my turn for that. You know,
Yeah.
It's like having the Stanley Cup and taking it around. You know, everyone only gets it for a couple times. Like everybody else is waiting. Is it my turn yet? Is it my turn yet to get that tape?
And my dad taught me when I was really young how to copy a tape, like with 2 VCRs, so that was cool. I always
Oh
had.
wow! So you just made
yeah.
your own.
Yeah, I had it down.
So like looking back, like this is a long time ago. Like this song. Like let's say you didn't even hear it right in '93. Let's say maybe like '94, like we
Yeah.
were like in that area. It's still 25 years ago. So when you hear it now, like does it bring like any nostalgia? Like does it bring you back to the old days a little bit?
It
or-
does, yeah. I don't listen to this song as much anymore. It's not really one of my favorites on the album, but it's still, when it comes on, I gotta listen to it because that is the first song that really like opened up the doors to this amazing music.
It paved the way, right? So
Yeah.
it's almost like you have to give it its credit, and like it's almost like in wrestling, because I make a lot of comparisons on the show
Yeah,
between
yeah.
rap and wrestling, how they're like there's a lot of similarities and whatnot, and like how like maybe this one guy was your first wrestler at first, but then you grew to love this guy, but you still got to pay homage to the guy that like got you in,
No
kind of
doubt.
thing. So like I don't know what else we want to say. I thought of all the questions. I like to hear from you guys. So like if I got any of the lyrics wrong, or like you have more information on the Malik, like I said, please fill me in. I love hearing about that stuff. And if you have any questions or comments for Nolan, he also you have a bunch of social media stuff. Like
Yes.
you have you have the Facebook and the
Yeah,
Instagram.
and Instagram. Those are the ones I use. Nolan James Wrestles is my page on Facebook, and at Nolan James Wrestles is my Instagram.
Yeah,
So-
and the Nolan James Wrestles one, it's he puts out like it's actually he's got a lot of followers on there. He puts out like some old, some new wrestling videos that people like might have interest in seeing. He gets a ton of views on there, and I'm just really honored to have him on my show. I hope you guys check out his stuff. Like I said, if you have any questions for him, just put them in the comments and I'll ask him. Like we're best friends now, so I can get a hold of him anytime. So that's what we do. I love doing these videos, and I'm really happy that you're my first guest. It means a lot.
I'm honored.
Yeah, and so as I always say, like on the show, or you get a leg drop, comment or you get a clothesline, subscribe or you get a suplex. I love doing these videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm gonna have more guests.
I got one thing.
Oh, okay.
I love your wall.
Oh yeah.
I've seen it so many times online where this wall's sweet, so I wanted to add to it.
Oh man, you didn't have to.
There we go.
No way.
The new Nolan James shirt.
Make sure you hit him up on any of his social media platforms that you said to get this shirt. I am so happy, and I will be putting it on the wall here, and it'll be on all my future episodes. I'll probably wear it in a couple. Thanks so much, man. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you in the next video.
I feel like I should start dancing.